Okay, I get this question often enough that I'm just going to make a very basic video on just scene captures. So first, scene captures are just an object. You can use them in blueprints, but you can also grab them just from your place object. Scene capture 2D is what we're going to use here. I dragged one to the scene. If you look, it looks like a camera. And then what you can do is if you scroll down to target, texture target, click none, it has a create new asset. So render target, and we'll just save this. We'll call it scene capture 2. You can also, of course, create a render target, right? From here. You don't have to create it through the scene target. So if you create a render target, you can slot that in. This render target, you can change the resolution. Obviously, if it's higher resolution, it will be more expensive. And then the field of view also will change how expensive it is, because that determines how much of your scene you're rendering. But right now, we don't really know what's going on. So an easy way to see what's happening with the scene target is just right-click the texture that's being used and click create material right there. So here's our material, and I'm just gonna, this is just like a plane I dragged into the scene. I'm gonna delete it. Plane, dragged in. I have grid snapping on, and I'm just gonna put that right on there. Probably need to rotate it, scale it up. Oh, there we go. And then just put this scene onto that plane. And then a good thing to do is go ahead and change it to just emissive unlit. Apply that. So then I'm going to turn off snapping so we can rotate. If we rotate this, we now have the scene. And you can use this texture basically like a normal texture. There's a few different ways to do it. By default, it's usually set to capture every frame. You don't have to capture it every frame. You can apply post-process materials to it, just like normal. It basically acts like a camera, but it renders to a texture. And then you can use that texture just within a material like you would use any texture. Again, it can get kind of expensive if your texture is really high resolution and you're drawing it every frame, and you're basically drawing the scene again, so you have to be kind of selective on how you use it, but still a really good tool. And then the final thing, I'm going to create a scene capture in here. Scene capture component 2D. And let's just see where it's at. I'm going to kind of drag it up so. And we are actually going to, I'm just going to use this one that we created before. Slot that in there. I'm going to delete this. So notice this will keep the old texture until it gets updated. So as soon as let's double check this. Okay, so that's on that. This is on that. There we go. Let's see if this updates. It's not updating. Scene capture component, capture every frame. Scene render. Let's see what's going on here. Why isn't that updating? Oh, there it is. It is. So it basically a camera updates in real time. Again, didn't want to make this one too fancy. Just wanted to kind of mention that scene captures are a thing. They get used in the Darklight tutorial, and I realized a lot of people, that's the first time they are introduced to them. They didn't even realize they're a thing. And the Darklight tutorial is actually as kind of using scene captures in a way that they're not normally used. But the normal way they're used is they're just kind kind of used like a camera that you want to render to a texture. All right, catch you later.